Sweet. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Call the Cops. My name is Officer Jamie Keneally. As always, we got a big show in store. Tonight, we're talking about graffiti. Yeah, graffiti is the topic of tonight's show. In fact, we have Detective Bill Kelly in the house. Billy will be out in just a bit. And basically, let me just say this. When it comes to graffiti knowledge, Detective Kelly, suffice to say, is the man. But questions tonight: who's doing it? Why do they do it? And maybe just as importantly, what you can do in the event somebody decides to tag your property, if you will. But before we get to Billy, we'd like to check out the latest BPD news. And if you saw last week's show, then you know Captain Flaherty was in the house. Captain Flaherty out of Area C6, south of Boston, that is. We were talking about the South Boston Day Parade, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, excuse me. We told the folks last week, please do not drink in public. Unfortunately, 17 people. Yeah, 17 people, I guess, weren't watching last week's show because 17 people were arrested for, among other things, drinking in public and disorderly. But Captain Flaherty also told me, all in all, those who attended the parade were extremely well-behaved, and again, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, a family event, and Captain Flaherty told me it was that and then some last Sunday. All right, in case you saw the front page of the Boston Herald a couple of weeks ago, here's the headline: Fed up residents shatter the stop snitching culture. Yeah, here's the deal, folks. People more and more are fed up with what's going on in their communities, and as a result, they're doing more and more to help the police. I guess you could say they're pitching in and making a difference. In fact, we spoke to Police Officer Michael Charbonnier, who is the commander of the Crime Stopper unit, and Mike told us, yeah, the numbers are up because people, I guess you could say, are fed up. He also tells us the numbers are up because people are putting more trust in the system, texting tips to crime, and calling Crime Stoppers at 800-494-TIP.
We realize that people may be a little skeptical to call 911. They don't want the bad guy to know where they live. They don't want the cruiser pulling up there. We're aware of people's concerns, and this is a viable option. It's anonymous. You send us the information either through texting or through the anonymous tip line through over the phone. And we take that information. We're not concerned with who you are. We're concerned with the problems you're dealing with. And we want to address those problems and solve those problems. And the text-to-tip or the anonymous tip line is just another option the public has to utilize the police.
Keep utilizing it, folks. All right, the Explorers. Yeah, the Explorers recently stopped by the K9 unit. Kids, from what I'm told, had a blast checking out the K9s, and so did K9 Officer William Willis and his K9 partner, Fritz. I guess it's Fritz. I'm pretty sure it's Fritz. Anyway, Officer Willis and Fritz have been partners for 2 years, and when it comes to talking to the kids about his partner, his dog, Fritz, well, Officer Willis says it's not only important, but he also says he loves to do it.
It gives them an opportunity to see police officers in a different light. They can see that we're normal people like they are. A lot of times the dogs is a good, go-between in order to get the kids to like us or just see that we're normal people. Everybody likes dogs, so when we can get them out here, see the dogs, show them what they do, everything they do is not to deal with criminals. I mean, we do things, we look for lost kids or maybe lost patients with Alzheimer's. We find guns on the street that may be potential hazard to kids that are just walking around the streets and may get out there and find something and hurt themselves. So, I mean, we do a lot of those types of things.
Nice. Thank you, Officer Willis. All right, in case you missed it, got to tell you about this story again. Police officers delivering babies. Yeah, it happened a couple of weeks ago. Police Officer Joel Rodriguez, Officer Anthony Francis, they got waved over by a man or a husband saying his wife was having a baby. Well, officers walked up to the car, and before you knew it, the mother was delivering a baby, and here's what Officer Francis and Rodriguez had to say about the situation.
Once we got flagged down, we asked the father how long of the contraction. He said 2 minutes. By the time we got out of the wagon and walked over to the car, the water had broken, and she started saying, "It's coming, it's coming."
I had 2 kids on my own, plus, watching a lot of TV help. Discovery Channel, it's a good recommendation, actually.
When we leave the station, when we get the call, when we're just driving by and somebody asks for our help, it feels good that we was able to actually do something to help somebody.
It's awesome. I mean, I just see the baby healthy, the mother is healthy, everybody's, I mean, it's a good feeling to know that you do some good in this world.
Nice job, boys. All right, in case you didn't know, one of the best superintendents, this department has seen, I should say, Superintendent John Gallagher, just an all-around great guy. He is retiring, and friends of the super are throwing him a party. So if you're interested, the retirement party for Superintendent John Gallagher will take place April the 2nd, taking place at the Castle. I'm told it's going to run from 6 p.m. to midnight, and tickets can be purchased at the door. All right, here's tonight's topic. Take a look. There it is. What is it? They call it graffiti. One person's art is another person's eyesore, you could say. But Detective Bill Kelly is in the house, and from what you're going to hear in a second, graffiti is one of the biggest quality of life issues, concerns in the city. And tonight we asked the question, who's doing it? Why the heck do they do it? And what can you do if, God forbid, you wake up one day, you come outside your house or your business, and you get the word, what does that say, B or something? Whatever it is. But you get graffiti in the front of your house. All right, without any further ado, let me introduce tonight's guest. Mr. Detective William Kelly is here. And he is we're going to call him can I call you the guru of graffiti, sir?
You can use that word, whatever word you want to use, I guess.
All right, buddy. Nobody in a better position to know graffiti than you. I kind of want to hear your story. Well, you've been involved in graffiti or interested in graffiti or policing graffiti for how long?
I started picking it up when I got hired by the police department. Graduated the academy, got sent over to District 14. Once I hit the morning watch tour of duty, Captain Evans placed me in the anti-crime unit assignment. And early in my assignment, I ended up making a graffiti pinch, which got me introduced to some other people and kind of took off from there.
So, but to you, is it? I mean, when there's a graffiti arrest, graffiti problem, people in the department go to Bill Kelly. I mean, it's kind of your thing. You're kind of the guru, if you will. But why was it important? Why did this become your passion, I guess?
Well, it came important to me because it became important to Captain Evans. It was one of his biggest complaints, if not his biggest complaint, was why are these kids doing it? Why are they getting away with it? What are you doing about it? And I worked for Captain Evans for about the last 11 years. And from him, I got introduced to Kevin Mullen, who introduced me to Nancy O'Laughlin. And upon my assignment to the Brick, Deputy Perkins and my supervisors there have allowed me to continue on with it. And through meeting those people and allowed to do the certain things, particularly while working with Arthur Wickens and Danny Humphreys, that's kind of where it started. Danny was kind of an organizational component, and that's when it got organized. Okay. We started to form a database, just keeping tabs of who we get, what they tag, and then their connection to each other. And from there, it just formed into people knew that there was a guy in Brighton enforcing graffiti, and the district captains or community service officers or sergeant detectives would call and inquire about whether or not I knew certain people.
My question to you, though, I guess, quality of life concern, you mentioned Captain Evans, who's one of our favorite guests here on Call the Cops, by the way. Yeah. Just got to get that out there, Captain. But how big a deal is it? I mean, in terms of quality of life concerns, you go to community meetings, and people are complaining about everything. Where does graffiti fit in the scheme of things in terms of quality of life issues?